Feedback. Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinga.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback,
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback.
Always remember that you can do that. And thank you so much for tuning in to Feedback. Again, a positive image production by Hood Research. And you know, as I always say, it's either feast or famine. So we're going to see how our feast turns out today. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research, and my co-host.
Yes, indeed, folks. Mark Cummings. It's going to be a great show.
Absolutely. And, you know, Mark, I just want to say happy Monday to all of those who tune in to our program each and every Monday. And just happy to meet so many people out in the community who do watch and who do enjoy our programming and what we bring to them each and every Monday.
Well, it's definitely unique. Everybody ain't going to get a chance to be on TV and radio. We put some people on, that you're not expecting, but they part of the community.
Yes.
And this is why you need this type of media. Because, you expect the big folks to be on TV.
Right.
But when you get the folks that you didn't hear about, and then this is why I think the media at the larger stations are starting to do these type of segments now. Where the people we have on the show end up on the larger local concern. They go from here, next thing you know, they're on Channel 20 or Channel 4 or Channel 7 here in Detroit. So, folks, Feedback is a trailblazing broadcast.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And one of the really wonderful features about the program we're on is the affirmations. I really enjoy that. When you go back through the calendar and the years and you find out that you were born on a day of some well-known person, you're like, wow.
Or event.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Or an event. Yes. Really great. We have some good events going on within our community. As a matter of fact, this coming Sunday, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, hey, know about them, are going to be right here in Detroit at Unity Baptist Church, 4 p.m. It's on Tyron and American. It's the side street, 7500 Tyron. And for those of you who remember the Mighty Clouds of Joy, it's an all-men's choir. It's just wonderful. So that's something to look forward to this coming Sunday, September the 29th.
Without a doubt. Well, look like we about to start that feast, Miss Broughton, you were speaking of.
Oh, okay.
One of our guests has come on down today.
Oh, okay.
And, we were looking for a little later, but I'm glad she came on down early this
wonderful.
morning.
Yes,
indeed, folks.
Right.
I'm telling you, we got a big school board election coming up this year. 3 positions are open, and 22 people are running for those 3 positions.
22.
22.
People.
Maybe 23, because one of them is an incumbent.
My.
2 of the slots are open. Folks, today, we got a young lady, been doing education in the community, doing great things for the community and education for quite a while. Miss Broughton, I told you we're going to have Monique Bryan on today. And she is here in the booth.
Okay.
WHPR TV 33.
All right.
Miss Monique Bryan, say hello to the viewers as well as the listeners.
Well, good morning, Detroit and surrounding areas. And I am happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you for joining us. Tell us, who is Monique Bryan?
So Monique Bryan is a lifelong resident of Detroit, born and raised, educated in Detroit public schools. I currently have a daughter attending Cass Tech. She's an 11th grader. And I have my son who graduated from Communication Media Arts over in Detroit in class of 2020.
All right. Now that's the old Finney High School, right?
No, CMA was in the former building where it was St. Mary's of Redford.
Oh,
That's
okay.
on Grand River.
So that's the one here on the west
Right,
side.
right.
Okay.
So and now they're over on Berg between 7 Mile and 8 Mile. So they had to move a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Now, what schools did you attend here in Detroit?
So I am proud to say that I attended Priest Elementary School.
All right.
I attended Munger Middle School briefly, then went over to Rudderman Middle School, and then I have the honor of being a graduate from Cass Tech, class of 1986.
All right. We got a technician in the building, Miss Bro.
Okay.
Well, technicians are everywhere.
Yes, they are.
But I'm also proud of the fact that my mom and all of her siblings graduated from Chatsey High School, and my dad graduated from Northwestern.
Okay.
So I understand the legacy of every school in every neighborhood. And so that is one of the reasons why I'm running for Detroit Public Schools Community District School Board.
Yes.
I am very, very much engaged in the community. Whenever called upon, I am serving. And I believe it is my duty, not only as a parent, but as a community member, to provide a quality education for all of our students. The fact that I've had such a great education has allowed me to delve into many areas. And by the way, I am a degree holder. I have a business degree as well.
From what esteemed university?
And so that would be from Davenport University.
Okay, all right.
Yep, I started out away from home at Bradley University, and came back home after a few things going on in my family dynamic. So came back to help out and eventually finished my degree. I started out like I thought I wanted to go into law. I wanted to go into being a doctor.
So whatever it was, you knew you wanted to make a difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it always kind of had something to do with, advocating for health or rights. But God gave me the thought that I could go into education. Knew I didn't want to be a teacher necessarily in a classroom, but once He put that on my heart, and then I had children. But before I had children, I was that community person. Like I was doing back to school events before they were like this big backpack thing. So always wanting to work with like middle school age children. Because I believe like that's the essence. The essence.
Once you get there, you know you setting up for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And I had the benefit as growing up, both sets of my grandparents were alive. So my grandmother, my father's mother, she had every graduation picture from all of my cousins who were older. Because my dad was the baby. So I knew, I was like, okay, I want to have my picture with cap and gown.
Now, what was your grandmother's name? Let it put the shout out so everybody remember her.
Elizabeth Bryant.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And so,
now, what neighborhood did you grow up in?
So my grandparents, my dad's parents were on 15th and Buchanan.
Okay.
And my mother's parents were on Wykes 74 and 19 Wykes. And so that was kind of like the South.
West side.
Yep,
too.
yep. All West side. But I had a very cultural background. My grandfather was a pastor.
Okay.
And
here in Michigan?
No, he traveled. He was a district reverend for the Nazarene Church.
Oh. Okay.
So, a lot of different backgrounds that I've had, that I bring that experience to the community effort. Because when I look at DPSCD, C being community, that is me. And I believe that's what separates me from, as you just mentioned, the 22 people running.
Okay.
I saw a need even at my alma mater. I didn't have any children, just showed up one day and noticed that the kids were pulling parents had to put instruments in cars and taped up instruments. And I said to the principal, I said, I'm volunteering. I said, but, I want to do something. We're going to kind of figure out how to raise some money. And do some things.
I'm glad you got there. Tim, do we have that segment set up? They did an interview with Miss Monique Bryant, yes. WDIV. Now, what's the name of the organization? The Triangle Group?
It's called the Triangle Society.
Society, okay.
And I co-founded that with a classmate and a few other Cass Tech alumni.
Now, that's the name of the yearbook, right? The Triangle.
Yep. So the name comes from the triangular piece of land that was originally donated for the first school that was built in 1907.
Oh, the first Cass Tech, 1907.
Yep.
Huh? Yep. Okay. Now, is that the one they called the Pickle Factory?
No. That would be like the third building. So Cass actually started on the third floor in Cass Union High School. Oh. And then someone, had the great thought of building a technical school, mimicking what was being done to prepare students straight out of high school for jobs. Oh. And so that first building was built, it caught fire. Then we had a second building, same thing. Our third building, which was the longest standing, was torn down in 1911. And now we have our newest building.
All right. Well, folks, get a little history here, Miss Broughton. Them Cass technicians out there, everybody. Cass.
No, but every school has a legacy, though.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Folks, we're about to go right into this. Tim setting it up for us. And you're going to learn a lot about this lady here. She does great work in the community. And now, the piece.
All right.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is 6:40, and if you've lived in Detroit long enough, chances are you've met someone who goes to or even graduated from Cass Tech. The building that sits on 2nd Avenue in Detroit is the 4th building for the school, and it has turned out some pretty big names, so many people that have gone on to achieve huge success. So this week for Your Neighborhood, I spoke with 2 women who are working to keep things on track. Tucked away on this triangle piece of land is one of the most well-known high schools in all of Detroit. Big names like Sean Robinson, Lonnie Love, and Big Sean are just a few of the stars who are proud Cass Tech alumni. 2 names you might not have heard of are charged with preserving the legacy of this high school.
By supporting and encouraging and doing all the things necessary for students to matriculate through their 4 years here at Cass Tech.
It brings me joy to do that.
Terry Berry and Monique Bryant are Cass Tech alumni, class of 1986. Together, they're the co-founders of the nonprofit, the Triangle Society.
We are able to put resources with our students to give them the opportunities to excel.
Resources like transportation, uniforms, and other situations that might arise during a student's academic years here. These 2 women problem solve to try and find solutions and help these students excel. They work inside of the building daily.
It's always a whirlwind. I always say that. We could be on the phone in the middle of the night.
We come in the building, there may be 5 or 6 things going on. And that, we've had students that have experienced homelessness due to fires. Wow, we mobilize, make sure that they have everything to continue their education here and support their families while they're trying to, find new housing.
Monique and Terry quit their jobs to dedicate their lives to the Triangle Society and the students of Cass Tech. Now, in its 4th year, their nonprofit is really just getting started and continues to encourage the students while raising money to meet their educational and personal needs.
We understand the value of education and excellence. I just encourage everyone, embrace your legacy. Get out and be a part of the change that you want to see in your school and work on the behalf of your students.
And they are doing just that every single day. So if you'd like to help, the Triangle Society is always accepting donations to continue to meet the students' needs. We have posted a link to their website on ours. Just go to clickondetroit.com for that. But I'd also like to point out the Triangle Society works along with Principal Lisa Phillips, who has also dedicated her life to helping those students succeed as well. And if you at home know of a nonprofit organization that is doing great work in your neighborhood, make sure you tell me about them by going to our website, clickondetroit.com/morning.
Very, yeah, very good. What I want to ask you now is, what are your thoughts about the washers and dryers that have been proposed that all of the public schools have?
Oh,
have you heard about it?
Yes, that's through the Detroit Public Schools Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the fact that, individuals and corporations want to do things for students. From my position, I think there always should be some community engagement.
Exactly.
Because there's obviously, when you talk to community members and students and parents, there are things that are much more needed that you could see. So when you talk about placing the washer machine and dryers, which, by the way, most schools have them, at least high schools, because they do laundry for the athletics.
Right.
But let's have a clear plan. So who's going to do the laundry? Are parents expected to come up and do it? Will we be galvanizing volunteers to do it? Thirdly, if I already have a situation where I have washing machine and dryers and they're not being used, how effective is that going to be? And I also kind of think that, with the engagement should have been, what's the expectation to maintain them? Will that be a budget item that we're going to see from the DPSCD budget yearly? Because they have to be repaired. And I say that because as a community partner, I have purchased or donated instruments and different things, but we also take on the responsibility that, okay, how are we going to keep these repaired?
Exactly.
How are we going to, in our budget, kind of assist with keeping it going? So that was, I'm always happy that individuals want to support students, but let's support them and let's look at it from the budget standpoint and from the community standpoint, because we can't do anything without that input, because it takes as we always say, a village.
Right, exactly.
So do we get a couple of parents to come up to the school, especially K through 8? And it might be a great opportunity to learn. Remember when we had home ec to actually teach kids,
involved in students, right?
Now we're teaching kids how to wash, and perhaps,
how to separate clothes,
right? And maybe are we going to get some donations from Procter and Gamble for laundry detergent?
Right, exactly.
Who's paying for
Right.
So I think it's always important, and that's what, if I'm elected to the board, those are the kind of things that I bring to the board. Not just making a decision based on, okay, we're going to get this. It's a nice have. How do we maintain it?
Well, prior to the COVID pandemic, Hood Research had donated a washer and dryer to Barton Elementary School, because we had learned that children come to school and frankly, they're just dirty. Their parents or whomever have not helped them to take care of their personal needs. And you have other children who don't want to go to school because they're embarrassed. So I think this was an interesting proposal, and I'm looking forward to it going through. Now, with the business background that you have, and with the fact that the governor signed a law that students must pass a fiscal what do they call it? Fiscal stability?
Well, financial
test before they can graduate from high school. How do you feel about that one?
I totally agree, because I've been out of school almost 40 years. When I graduated and went away to Bradley University, I had no idea about financial responsibility. And the first thing they give you when you're in the bookstore, credit card application.
Right.
So that was the downslide right there on how you were going to do credit. Then you had student loans. So now what I have understood, and because I'm a parent, I work in the schools. Last year, my daughter, well, not last year, back in the fall, she turned 16. The first thing I did was prepare her. She had driver's ed. Then we went to a bank. She got a bank account and a savings account. This was her second summer working for GDI, which is, GDYT, the Detroit program, summer program. I said, okay, you budget your money, but your last check, my expectation is for you to put that money in your savings account. And let's start saving money and prepare. So I don't believe that a lot of parents, and certainly my parents never had that conversation with me. But where we are now is that
today is imperative.
It's imperative because we're talking Cash App, we're talking Chime, we're skipping the banking aspect. And not only that, in the curriculum in school, and I'm in favor of this. We used to learn in middle school how to fill out an envelope, how to write a check, which checks aren't written as much now, but at least you still need to know it, because when you receive a check, that perforated part that tells you what the taxes are, kids don't understand. They don't understand that. And, we're doing the banking, online banking thing, but they have no concept of how to reconcile their money. And even just budgeting in school, kids like, oh, I want to have
you know what?
Chick-fil-A today.
Just to bounce off the budgeting part, because I think it's important that people understand you run an organization.
Correct.
The Triangle Society. How much money did you guys raise?
So we've raised nearly $300,000.
That's amazing. Which means you guys have to know how to budget.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Get in touch with people, get donors. So you're in a position, because that's mainly what the school board does, is deal with the budget.
Absolutely.
And
I was going to say, a lot of people, and that is one of my platform key points, budgeting. So when people say, oh, well, my kids go to school, I'm like, but that's your money. You should care where it goes. So we get state money, we get federal money, which is Title I money, and we get philanthropic money, such as we just discussed how we're getting the washing machine and dryer.
Right.
So those three things, people don't understand that as parents and community stakeholders, when you advocate where those funds go, and not just district-wide, because each school gets its own budget. I actually sit as a community partner on the School Advisory Council at Cass.
Okay.
So you see where the money goes for after-school budgeting, for different programs. You see, the money that's being covered for incidentals within the budget. But you are able to, communicate with everyone and say, hey, let's come to the table. How should we spend this money? How would it best suit and best educate our students? So that is so important. But if you're not budgeting in your own household, and not teaching those foundations, I can remember my grandfather would give us $1. And we thought that was really huge. And you'd run and put that, everybody had a little jar or a little bank. I don't even think kids even, from 2 or 3 think that now. They get $1 and they go,
ready to spend it.
No, they go, I need more than this.
Well, that too.
The ice cream truck, I can't get nothing for $1. So,
are we right there at the break, Mr. Smith? 2 minutes to the break.
Yes.
All right, okay. And Ms. Broden is important, because what we were saying, because we've had some other people on that are also running for office, because we try to get all of y'all in to speak to our listeners out there. And they already have approved Vivi for 3 more years.
Well,
and when you had lame duck members on the board, and they should have waited, because that takes away from what you guys' responsibility will be when you get on the board.
Well, when you come on the board, you're going to be, the leadership is there. I've had several conversations with Dr. Vitti as a parent. You know, his role is as a superintendent is to lead the district, but the board's role is to hire the superintendent, approve the budget, and make policy.
And
So-
fire the superintendent
Well,
if he
If
is
necessary.
not productive. That's right, if it's necessary.
So that is another key point I have. How are we judging the job? First of all, there should be a job description and what the expectations are for our students and what he should be doing. I don't know any job that you're heading this kind of
Right.
$1 million budget and 50,000 students,
Right.
and we're satisfied with, you know, less than 1% growth in reading or math. We talk about a graduation rate that's increased, but those graduates are not necessarily reading at grade level. And all of this came before COVID. So when we talk about this board, the original board was voted in 2016 and came into place in 2017. I don't believe that our core parent and community members are looking at what they have done and hold them accountable.
Hold that thought right there, because we right there at the break. Mr.
Yeah.
Smith, you ready to go to the break, sir? We're going to go to this break, Miss Broden. So we're going to get you on the other side of the break, folks, with Miss Monique Bryan. She's running for Detroit School Board.
Yes. And those of you out there, refresh your orange juice or your coffee. Call someone. Tell them to tune in to hear this important information. And we'll be back momentarily.
I'm James Ford, founder of the Obama Weekend, and a partner of the Hood Research Team, composed of the knowledgeable Theo Broden, the super analyst Henry, and the colorful Al Martin. This team discusses politics, seen and not seen, at the national, state, and local level. But to enhance the goals of this team, join or donate to Hood Research by visiting Twitter or Facebook, or visit hoodresearch.org, or call 248-234-2371. You can also join Hood Research on Phonecast every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by calling 978-990-5000, access code 338729. Thank you very much.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
Everybody settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, there gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime. It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Walnut.
Wally Walnut here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the...
Chew!
That's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am the BD Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you.
And remember, that always you can take us along with you. And right now we're in a discussion this morning about the importance of the Detroit Public School system. And we have our candidate with us this morning, Ms. Bryant. And we are interested in what she plans to do as a member of the Detroit Public School Board. You know, the superintendent, you were speaking about the responsibility of board members and all, but I do attend school board meetings. And I was in attendance at a school board meeting some months and months ago. And the superintendent was giving his report, and he stated to everyone that I'm going to build 3 schools. One of the schools was Cody High School replacement. Okay, so time went on. Months passed. And at another school board meeting, he comes in, he's making a report, and I'm going to build 5 new schools. And I'm like, wait a minute. What happened to the 3 he talked about months ago? So now, as someone who has a background in business and finance, how would you respond to the fact that he has announced it was almost a year, I think, in between those 2 announcements? Today, we hear about the Dexter Elmhurst Center. That was months ago. Those 3 announcements have not realized any grass or dirt being turned over with a shovel. As a board member, if you are voted in, what will you say about that? What will you do about that? Would you research that?
Well,
would you ignore it?
Well, first of all, let me say, these funds were from the COVID funds from the federal government. So there was voted and approved a $700 million budget. Now, every school needs upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly agree with that. I wasn't necessarily on board for $7 million being appropriated, and out of that, you're getting 5 new schools. Each school had work done, maybe classroom expansion that we were talking about for pre-K school, pre-K age students, parking lots, a lot of different things based on, the needs of the 106 schools. What I will say, to your point, Cody and Pershing are 2 new high schools that are being built. When you look at budgeting and effectively, those schools have very low enrollment compared to what they used to be. Now at Pershing, I love that building. I'm not really about tearing down buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen where Bedrock has done a great job downtown in turning half of the vacant buildings and repurposing them.
Right.
So where was the thought of possibly, what was the price tag of repurposing these buildings? I, as a parent with CMA, when that school moved over to what used to be a previous middle school, we started having conversations, and we knew that there was going to be some moves. And now the former school is now going to be the Malcolm X school temporarily, because they're getting a new school. So I know we were time sensitive on how we use this money, but when you don't actually know what's going on, and to my point that I'm about to make, have you thoughtfully gone out to those schools? Have you gone out into the communities? Because our schools are part of the community. So that should reflect what the neighbors want to see.
Right.
Where are we looking at in terms of working with the city, building out that community that a new school will support students? Because one of the things I think is really has been detrimental is that we don't have schools in the neighborhood for kids to walk to. I know for sure we have over 100,000 kids that live in the city of Detroit, and 50,000 of them are going to other schools, which could be private schools,
right?
Or
so some of them are managed by Michigan, right? By the state.
Well,
those are those charter schools, right?
Yep.
Now, what is that? What is that called again? The Michigan what? That handles the charter schools. What is the name of that?
So I'm not quite sure right off the top of my head, but the charter schools are chartered by different universities.
Right.
There have even been some DPSCD schools that are chartered that were in place, under the previous management.
That's what makes it so much harder, Ms. Broke, because now the Detroit Public Schools is almost in competition with these other organizations.
They are. But number one, build it and they will come. The best example of that at this time is the school on the corner of Wyoming and Chicago. That school is so stuffed. It's crazy. Parents want their children to attend. It's a brand new school.
The David McKenzie.
And it's called McKenzie Elementary School. I didn't agree with elementary school replacing the high school, but that's a whole nother subject there. However, the overflow of the students that were not able to get into that school are now going to Barton, and it is expanding, Barton Elementary School. Number two, the other issue happens to be with older schools, lead and asbestos. Lead and asbestos kills. So to just talk about refurbishing a building rather than getting the lead and asbestos out is unacceptable. The superintendent should never have come to a school board meeting on 2 different occasions and announced that he was building new schools if he just intended to paint up, clean up, fix up. That is unacceptable. And to get a 3-year extension on his contract when the public schools are not at the level they were prior to him even coming here. The schools were coming along, and they seem to have been a lot better off than many of the non-public schools and other public school systems in the state of Michigan, and it seems like somebody didn't like that. So let us continue with bankruptcy and all, destroying the city of Detroit that was close to almost 2 million in population, now down to 600,000. So I have a real serious issue with the Detroit School Board, and that's why I attend the meetings as regularly as I do.
Well, I can appreciate that. And I'm all about community engagement. And one of my cornerstones of success has been engagement. You have to go out. People aren't going to come to you. You got to go out to them. I was very effective at Frederick Douglass, all-male academy, getting parents, engaged. over there, we were able to work with the National Organization for Black Male Achievement, along with the Mathis Center, and the young men went to Belize for 10 days.
Wow!
I was a superintendent, not a superintendent, a chaperone. What those things that kids are exposed to and broadens their horizon. And I saw how effective, working with other male mentors, the change that they had coming back. But I also know on the other end what it took. You had parents that didn't have birth certificates ready. You had to go through, if you were
you got to get a passport.
Right. So it was twisting arms. So a lot of young men didn't get an opportunity to go. So those are the things and experiences that I have learned, that I can't be judgmental. You don't know what you don't know until you go out and research it.
Well, not only that, Miss Broden, because Miss Broden is critical of people that don't get the job done, as you can see.
As she should be.
And what she's pretty much saying is, we don't need rubber stamps on the school board. We need people that are going to challenge the leadership. Let them know, look, this is going to be done. If you're going to say you're going to do something, get it done. And this is what we're looking for. People like you said. Now, what you mentioned when we were talking earlier is one of your mentors is Miss Helen Moore.
Miss Helen Moore.
So that speaks volumes. Talk about that.
So I have heard her name for years. My mom had told me, how she always worked with single mothers and just trying to help them and encourage them with getting their children educated. And so when I went over to Frederick Douglass, and then I became a PTA president, and I started going to the board meetings, and I met her, and I just felt so inspired by the way she would stand up for policies and for students. And so when we had the proposal of a name change for Frederick Douglass, I was totally against that, simply because he is one of the most prolific
abolitionists
in our history.
Right.
And so I had her come over. I invited her to come over to a meeting because, I don't know everything. I didn't know the history about DPSCD or the past DPS. So she knew the history on the school, and she laid it out to me. And I'm like, okay, this is something that we got to engage the community. So there was a survey done in which it wasn't widely dispersed as I saw it. So I went on social media, got other former students and graduates involved. And as a community, we were able to challenge that, and that name wasn't changed. And it was brought up again in 2023 about changing. And because Miss Moore, she's very powerful in what her education knowledge is and what she stood for. And when I was contacted and knew that they were trying to change the name, I was still firm on that first stance. So I went to the board meeting and I said, hey, we can't change names of schools and streets just because we're trying to change the image of something. You've got to really, really work with where we are. Why are we changing a name? What are we going to do to undergird that name and to educate people? So that was first and foremost. And so from there, I just kind of like grown into my own kind of direction, which is that community engagement piece. Meet people where they are, share with them the opportunities for growth, and allow them to have a voice and to speak. Because a person could be wrong or misguided about something, but there's some truth to what they believe based on their knowledge. So when we come together, such as we are this morning, and we have conversations and we understand where each other are coming from, we can find more common ground and more solutions than being on Facebook, and talking about, I can't believe school is closed today. It's hot outside and they letting the kids, those are things that the board and certainly every board member should be going out to a school or multiple schools at some point in time. Let's not expect that, our parents are to come to board meetings and come to community meetings.
The only time they get to see them, right?
They are. But we have PTA, parent teacher organizations in school, and school advisory councils. So let's be effective. We have a whole office with a budget for engagement. And let's see where they stand. I would love to know how many PTAs are fully accredited. And when I say that, I can say, oh yeah, there's a PTA in every school. But with that, we're supposed to be attached to the national organization.
PTA, yeah.
And when you have your full accreditation, then now you have the power of a 5013C, which is what I stood on, which was why I was able to get so many things accomplished on the behalf of the young men, because I had a 503C status. We had a bank account. We were able to raise money. So when you aren't aware, when you keep, that knowledge, and you aren't encouraging people to embrace that, and it does take mentorship, even with that, but the funds are there in the community engagement office.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Well,
you mentioned the schools, Ms. Broden. So
yes.
Somebody got to build these schools if they're going to do it. And, excuse me.
Well, part of the disappointment, I guess, that I have is with the boards in the past not scrutinizing how money is spent. It's been reported a few times that CAS cost twice the amount to build.
That was budgeted.
And that was budgeted for a school like CAS, and I'm trying to remember whether it was Novi or what other city. Twice. Now, had someone investigated that, they would have said, we got to get another company, another construction company, because to build CAS High School and charge DPS double is unacceptable. There are just too many crazy things, like that go on.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I don't have any knowledge on how we got in the financial realm that we did under DPS. But I will say for DPSCD, as a board member, I would be committed to looking at every avenue. And we do know that there are cost increased, post-pandemic. So there are a lot of things that play into that. But I'm a firm believer. When you just pointed this out, there's a contractor, and I'm not going to mention
Please
the name.
don't.
But I was very upset that, a few schools, and this has come out at the board meetings, that they aren't being cleaned effectively. We don't have the staffing. And, as part of the council, I said, hey, can we have a walkthrough through the school? I was actually brought a vacuum from home to clean up for an event that was going on after school. And I said, this is not right. These funds, and this is what we have to think about. Our students benefit from everything, whether it's lunch, whether it's cleaning, whether it's the grass being cut. Every dollar is attached to that seat where that student is sitting in this district.
Right. Well, the per student allocation has been increased by the governor, which is a good thing. But in the meantime, first of all, CAS was built prior to the pandemic. But now, tell us how you feel about the curriculum. Have you had any opportunity to review that?
So curriculum-wise, and from my standpoint, when I was educated in Detroit Public Schools, I believe that we're missing some things. We're missing civics. A lot of parents want to see cursive, myself included. I've had to teach my children how to sign their names on their documents. That's critical. We're missing just the basics where, we had, not to say that we have to have these classes back, but we have to prepare students for just the everyday life skills. We don't have that. I also think with the curriculum, we're very focused and driven on literacy and math, as we should. But part of going to school is the excitement. Kids, when I was in school, we were able in high school to select our curriculum. We were able to select our classes, our lunch hour. I mean, we have kids at lunch at 9 a.m. You just got to school. We had opportunities where if you had your by 11th grade year, if you had enough credits, you could work. We had those opportunities. So I think we need to make our curriculums a little bit more exciting, that encourages kids to come to school, because I want to take that art class. Even though I may be a science major, I have the opportunity in my day to take that art class or take that music class because I really want to learn how to play an instrument. Those are things that are still missing. We were told that we would have art and music in every school. I don't think we've come to that realization yet. I would like to definitely see that. I am for having textbooks in school that we can take home, simply because parents, to be able to do a recall to help with the math problem. And I can remember when my parents used to help me with homework, they said, go get your book. And you'd be saying, well, I know how to, they say, go get your book. Then you can read the example and work from that. You also had workbooks that went along with that to reinforce. I think, the virtual and the going online, that all works well for some, but some kids still need that book. I think it encourages more reading. We're saying, well, kids need to read more, but we don't have libraries in every school anymore that we used to. Although I will say I volunteered over at Mason, and they just got a library redesign with Scholastic coming in, donating books. I was very, very excited to see that. But, just those basic things, I think we can reintroduce and make our kids more excited. I would also like to see, we expect kids to sit down all day in seats and lunch. I love when we used to have the opportunity to have time just to go out and run around and play. We don't have that. You have the structured gym. Everything is so structured. But what about the imagination just running out and playing? We don't have that. And I think once we get back to that, you'll see probably a little less of behavioral problems, because kids have had that chance to run around and exert some energy. Now they're back in class and they're probably a little bit more focused.
Well, Ms. Brown, we definitely gonna need some structure. We're gonna need some people to get on this doggone school board and put the heat under the administration, because at the last meeting I was at, I think the graduation rate was like 64% for the young men, and that's abysmal.
Well, we have to do a lot of work. I have a son, and let me tell you, during his 3 years of high school, not so much the freshman year, but I was on him. I made sure he was in JROTC. He played chess, he played basketball, but I tried to put him in things that required fundamental thinking, and put him in the space where he had a lot of role models. Male role models. I would love to see more male teachers in the classroom. Now,
is that something that the school board could convey upon administration? Like, how can we start hiring more male teachers?
Well, one of the things we do, we have recruitments, and I have seen those. But what is our messaging to our male teachers? You know, what kind of messaging? And my degree is marketing and advertising are my two favorite things. But what are we asking, and how are we asking it? And are we building a program like we had?
Okay, well, we about to get into something real quick. Yeah. Look, Tim said we right at the break. Look like we're going to have to bring it over another break.
That was fast.
Yes.
Wait a minute. What kind of clock are you using, Tim? Oh, my goodness.
I think it's a great conversation.
Ooh, well, I tell you. But anyway, call someone, let them know that the information we share right here for you each and every Monday from 9 a.m. until 10:30 is important when you go to make a decision, particularly during an election season, which we are in right now. So we want you to refresh your orange juice or your coffee, your water, tea, whatever it is, and we'll be back after we take a pause for the cause. We're back momentarily.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
All right, everybody, settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, there gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime. It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Walnut.
Wally Walnut here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the...
Chew!
That's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman. I am here to address all of your complaints and concerns. If you need assistance regarding city services, please contact my office at 313-224-6000 or contact us via email at ombudsman@detroitmi.gov. This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman.
WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am the BD Impinda.
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback.
And we are back. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research. I want you to also considering joining us for all that we do in bringing information to you. Mark?
Yes, indeed, folks. Just want to say it's so important when we get these people running for office for them to be a part of the community, but you also see where their values are. And that's what's important. And we were talking, because Ms. Broden brought up the schools. That's important. They want to build new schools, so you're going to need contractors to do this. Now, you were part of a neighborhood advisory council, and a lot of people are not aware of this. Matter of fact, this was kind of fell out of the news about this district Detroit build out. It's a $1.5 billion. They're trying to put $1.5 billion together to do things in the city. The package of spending pledges and equity commitments was negotiated over several weeks by a 9-member volunteer board known as the Neighborhood Advisory Council. Give us an idea of what that was all about.
So the Neighborhood Advisory Council are members of the community, the immediate community. So when we talk about the District of Detroit, we're talking about Olympia Entertainment, the Midtown area.
Mm-hmm.
My involvement came because of Cass Tech being right in that footprint.
Okay.
So the premises is that they were getting tax dollars to do additional building. So there are hotels, mixed use buildings coming
this
on
office
board.
building proposed for 2300 Woodward.
So as a community partner for Cass Tech, went to the first meeting, kind of saw what was going on. I said, okay, well, we don't have any parent, alumni representation. Where do we fit in with that? So once the board was elected, I reached out to Ryan Barnhill, who's a community person over at Olympia, and she said, well, you're welcome to come to the meetings and hear what's going on. I was like, well, that's good, but what are our students getting out of this? Because we have a population of 2,500 students every year.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what are we getting out of this? Well, the first thing I thought about is our athletic facility. We were promised to have new turf and some other things, and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get into a long drawn out thing with that. So the Triangle Society submitted a proposal of things that would benefit the students.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about some beautification projects immediately around the school in Cass Park.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about a athletic facility enhancement, not just turf, but we've expanded over at Cass to almost like 13 sports. So we have soccer, we have lacrosse,
tennis,
football, tennis, golf. Our track team does not have a place to practice. So we were like, okay, what do we do with the expansion of that? So we submitted a proposal to the advisory board, and that was considered. So with that doing so, Cass Tech would receive $1 million in 2 increments attached to 2 projects. That money is being donated over to the Detroit Public School Foundation, in which we plan to significantly engage them as well as the board on what we would be doing with that. But not only is that happening in Midtown, that just recently happened over here near Grand Boulevard, where we're talking about Henry Ford. So on the corner there, they demolished, you saw where they demolished the building. So they too were asking for community input and taxing. So there's another building being built over on the other side of the lodge. So when we talk about, what we want to see in our neighborhoods, it's directly affecting our district.
Yeah, because you had mentioned earlier, you're not just dealing with public funds, you're dealing with private funds.
Absolutely. And how do we repurpose those funds from how we used to do things, build things? We're talking about in the city of Detroit, we're still having a hard time finding contractors. So we've built into the district.
Before you move forward on that, now folks, look this up. Just go ahead and Google District Detroit build out, and then you got a big article in the Detroit Free Press from February last year. Look that up. Now, of the build out money that they're looking at proposing to put together this package, they say just over $100 million will be used in specially targeted spending and out of project budget, which will be directed towards, as they call us, disadvantaged contractors, unfortunately, which are the Black or Hispanic owned businesses. So we know, like Ms. Bro said, you want to build the schools, we got to start giving some of this money to these disadvantaged, which means, they put behind the 8 ball. They got to get the money in their hand. So knowing the fact that you've been dealing with in the middle of these type of negotiations, we know you have experience dealing on this level.
Absolutely. And I will say on the school board website, there's the plan, the $700 million that we're spending. There is also other contracts and different things that the board documents that you can see. But what really has to happen is that when you have the true engagement, a representative that is in your school, working with your council person that represents the district that your school is in. I mean, we really have to be, and I love this word because I used to hear it all the time and it was a buzzword, intentional. Intentionality. You cannot just say, oh, I expect someone else to do this. As a community member, I try to go to every meeting that I can. I have the Detroit app on my phone. I have engaged every office for the city council that I get their news links when they're having meetings. And a lot of times the meetings, compete with one another. The school board meeting is every second Tuesday. And then we have the morning meetings, which are the committee meetings, which are very hard to attend. But that is where all the work is done.
Now, how can the people get involved? Because they listening now, they seeing you on TV, RadioWeekNC.com, folks. We didn't get around to getting the number out because we just been, it's so intimate right now, Miss Bro. We got deep in there because we want people to understand. These people come on as candidates, you need to know them.
Yep.
So how can they get be a part of what you do?
So I have a website, www.votemoniquebryant.com. I also am on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X. You can Google the Triangle Society. You see the work that I've done. I'm out there.
Okay. So for people who didn't see the video, spell your name for them. That's
Vote Monique MONIQUE Bryant BRYANT, and we are going to have some upcoming forums coming up. One here in a couple of weeks, and I'm sure we'll be having more information out about that. But there are going to be some upcoming forums, and you'll have an opportunity to hear. I will have those listed on my website, and I'm always sharing that information on my Facebook page. And just I encourage everyone, because you have up to 3 votes. I certainly want to be your first and foremost, your number 1 vote, but you want to have like-minded people that are concerned, that aren't just, this is a jump off that I'm looking to be to do something else politically driven. I've already done the work, will continue to do the work, whether I'm, elected on the board or not. I am 10 toes down, boots entrenched, and making sure that our students get a high quality, valued education in the city of Detroit, and make no bones about it. We have issues. Issues can be addressed because we have the funding to do so.
All right.
You know, it's unfortunate that we have to depend on the Community Advisory Board and people not understanding the benefit of even having it. But Hood Research and others worked to try and not have one because we had a citizen district council. And the citizen district councils that were set up by Coleman Young were for the purpose of telling these contractors who just want to bleed money out of Detroit that they had to be approved by the residents. So today we have to depend on people getting into elected positions that understand that they're being misused and abused so that things can change and we can get back to building this city. To go from almost 2 million people down to 600,000 is definitely unacceptable. But there are some things going on now that we have got to pay attention to, that we have got to understand that folks are being manipulated similarly to, what was he, President number 45, I believe he was. Oh, so I have to say that. So we have a presidential election, which is extremely, extremely vital, or we'll all end up, who knows where, with this Project 2025 that's being waved in front of our faces.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Ms. because you know what, we were supposed to have Brother Keith Ellison on as well this morning. He is the Attorney General in Minnesota, yes. And he spoke at the convention. And can we play them 4 minutes, Tim? We got 4 minutes, Brother Keith Ellison speaking at a convention, because we're going to get that there just to let you know this is an important election.
Definitely.
Please welcome Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison.
Friends, I'll never forget when I first saw the video of the murder of George Floyd. I was heartbroken. I was angry. And that morning, my phone rang. And on that line was Governor Tim Walz. Tim Walz felt the exact same way I did. And a few days later, Tim appointed me to prosecute Floyd's murder. Almost a year after that, minutes after the guilty verdict came down, my phone rang again. And it was Vice President Kamala Harris calling to congratulate my team and the work. Now, Kamala and Tim, they understand the legacy of George Floyd. No one is above the law, and no one is beneath it. No one is outside the circle of our compassion. In the Republican Party, everyone thinks they're above the law. Hell, nearly a dozen of their own lawyers are facing serious charges. Even their lawyers need lawyers. These con artists are trafficking in the defective goods of division, exclusion, and fear. And friends, selling defective goods is a scam. And like Kamala Harris, I am an attorney general. And attorney generals know what a scam is when they see it. Like my friend Tish James, for example, from New York. America, we won't be scammed again. We're not going back, we are going forward. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are ready to lead us there. I've worked side by side with Tim Walz for 18 years. His office is right across the hall from mine. And I've seen him deliver for the people of the state of Minnesota every day. Everybody knows Minnesota is one of the best states to live in, to raise a family, to do business, and we've got the best voter turnout in America. Facts. Kamala and Tim, they fight for the people, and they also listen. And when they say we need a ceasefire and an end to the loss of innocent lives in Gaza, and to bring hostages home, they're listening, friends. They agree with us. There are people watching tonight, and maybe even here tonight, who aren't sure yet about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. If you want to know where they stand on some of the most urgent issues facing our country and the world, let me assure you, Kamala and Tim hear you. They listen, they care, and everyone is included in their circle of compassion. They believe that everybody counts and everybody matters. Let's put a stop to the scam of Donald Trump once and for all, and let's put Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the White House. Let's go win.
And when we vote, we win. Yes. See, when we vote, we win.
And, you know,
Mark?
I'd just like to say that, Brother Ellison, you got to be on down here to feedback, brother. But like he said at the end, the important thing is we need representatives that care about all the citizens. And that's what we're looking for, whether it's the school board or the head of registered deeds, or from the mayor on up to the governor, to the federal government, the Congress people and senators. We need people who care. And that's what this is all about, you know. And that was important, what he said there. And that's the main thing. But you know what? Another also important is we get your birthday, Miss Monique Bryant. Because we got the book here, Afromation. I think they need to have this book in the schools right here.
Oh, yes.
I would agree. So January 4th.
January 4th, Miss Broughton. Let's see what we got on the 4th here. Well, Floyd Patterson, the boxer, was born on your birthday in Waco, North Carolina in 1935. 1937, Grace Bumbry, one of the brightest stars of the 20th century opera, born in St. Louis, Missouri. 1971, Melvin H. Evans was sworn in as the Virgin Islands' first elected governor by Thurgood Marshall.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
All right. In 1985, William Gray of Pennsylvania was elected chairman of the House Budget Committee. And they also mentioned Martin Robinson Delaney. We all know Martin Delaney, abolitionist. Now, even though he was born on May the 6th, they got him down for your date as the person that was getting things done. And he also published the Pittsburgh Mystery, the first that spoke of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, and wrote a book called The Condition, Elevation, Immigration, and Destiny of the Colored People of the United States of America. Wow. So we talking about destiny here, Ms. Bryant.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, I am going to get that book. I would love to share that with students, you know, when we're having conversations. Let them know that you share a legacy through history, and that you too can be great. You may not be thinking about doing something great right now, but you never know where your life and your mission and purpose will take you. And I feel very honored to be born on the same day as those individuals. What a wow, how dynamic is that?
That's a heck of a way to end this show.
It is. I received all that positivity, and hopefully I'm going to make my ancestors proud.
Yeah, now I know you got the website. Is there any way they could call you to get in touch with you?
Well, you know, I'm always taking calls doing the Triangle Society business, so you can certainly call me on my office phone, 313-405-7875. And even if it's not about the Triangle Society business or necessarily business with me running, if you are interested in doing some work and volunteering in different community organizations, I'm always open to that. We try to have our ambassadors come out, and these are ambassador students doing things and working. So
get our number one more time, real slow.
313-405-7875.
All right, folks. You know what the BD said? Always have your pen ready over here on feedback.
Someone else tells me that all the time when I call and talk to him. And he says, "Do you have your notebook and pen?" I'm like, "I'm driving." He's like, "Well, pull over." And he's so right.
Yes, indeed. Well, we just blessed to have had you on, and we look forward to your run.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a wonderful conversation, and I look forward to just seeing what energy we have.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, Tim said we got 10 minutes. Miss Broughton, what's on your mind?
Oh, wow. Kamala Harris. And, of course, our local elections are extremely important as well. But to know that the competitor to Kamala Harris is just spewing out lie after lie after lie. And you know, I just have to go back to January the 6th because it was apparent that there were two groups of people who went to the Capitol to try and stop the election. One group went there with violence on their mind and weapons in their hand to do grave danger to our elected officials who were there. They brought a gallows for Nancy Pelosi, and they brought a second gallows for the Vice President, Pence. Can you imagine that? Pushing those two things up to the Capitol, that's not mentioned a lot. If you want to hang somebody, to bring all that is required to go through a hanging, okay. The second group of people were just community folks who believed in this man and what he was trying to do to take over the country, United States of America, democracy. There's a minister by the name of Reverend Otis Moss III who says democracy is on the ballot. And indeed it is. Democracy is on the ballot. But you saw that second group of people just moseying along. No weapons, no malice in mind. They just believed this man that was sitting in the White House watching what was going on, laughing and watching. And I called that second group the Kool-Aid drinkers. And I call them the Kool-Aid drinkers because of the fiasco that happened in Guyana when the preacher had some same types of people to come into a room because he had been exposed to all that he was doing. And Congress found out about it. FBI, everyone was going there to stop the kind of brainwashing that was happening to the Kool-Aid drinkers. And of course, they were not as successful rescuing those people before he told them, take a glass. Everybody had a glass of Kool-Aid. Drink it now. Many of them dropped dead on the spot. And those who didn't got shot in the head. That's what happened to people who were not paying attention to the facts, to the evidence, to the information. And a large group of folks who went to the Capitol on January the 6th, they're the same. The Kool-Aid drinkers. Such a large group of people who fell for the, as they say, the okie doke. The new term is gaslighting. They fell for it. Wow. And now we see ourselves in a very serious condition today where we have to determine whether we're going to vote for a man who has nothing but hatred in his heart. And by experience, by his actions, we know that he does not support black people in general, or black men in particular, and he hates women in general, and he hates black women in particular. And he's been paying many of them to go around to talk about how he should be elected president on November the 5th, when a majority of us know that that is not the best idea ever planted. So we have to become commercials, walking, talking commercials ourselves, and let people know about the plan, the 2025. Let them know what is planned for us. He tells you flat out, you vote for me November the 5th. You won't even have to bother voting ever again, because I'm going to be a dictator of the United States of America.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that dictator piece, Miss Brown, because I was reading one of my magazines in these times, and they've got a excerpt from one of Toni Morrison's books.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, it was an essay she wrote in 1995.
Okay.
About racism and fascism. And she says, racism is a system that endlessly justifies violence for the profit and comfort of the ruling class.
Justifies it for the ruling
changes
class.
Citizens into taxpayers, neighbors into consumers, parenting into panicking. It produces the perfect capitalist, one who is willing to kill a human being for a product or kill generations for control. What is to be done? And, you know, Toni Morrison, she's right. So
kill a generation for control.
And this is why we need people who care. We down to 3 minutes. And the lady who wrote this article said, look, her sights are set on what we're going to do on November 6th, the day after the election, on the ways we show up for our communities after our neighborhood voting booths have been stowed away into their storage units. So that's the main thing. Once you do get elected into these positions, what you going to do? And what we going to do to keep them accountable. So, Ms. Broughton, take us home, Hood Research, where they can find us. And we got 3 minutes.
Well, the one thing I definitely say at the end of the program is it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We at Hood Research seek out as much information as we can to share with you and encourage you to share with us. Hood Research has an email, which is contact@hoodresearch.org. Again, that's CONTACT, the little @ symbol, they're able to circle around it, HOODRESEARCH.org. Contact@hoodresearch.org. We have Facebook. We moved from Twitter to X, I guess, the new name for it. We're there. We have a Facebook page, website. And the telephone number for Hood Research is area code 248-234-2371. Again, the telephone number for Hood Research is area code 248-234-2371. We encourage you to join us. It's $20 a year or $300 lifetime. We have many activities that you would enjoy participating in. We accept suggestions for other activities that we should organize for the community participation, because people need to be inspired to do things. Some people just need to be asked. So I'm asking, join Hood Research. You will never regret it. Mark?
Brother Tim, another great show. Once again, thank you to Miss Monique Bryan for coming down, letting you know she's running for Detroit School Board. Folks, we love you. We'll see you next week, 9 a.m., 10:30 a.m. Thank you once again, Brother R.J. Watkins. We love WHPR TV 33 because we get the word out.
Peace.
Feedback. Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback.